Assalamu alaikum. Ever wondered how many mosques there are in the UK? Ever wondered what is the story and background behind these very mosques? Well, today MTA International is taking you on a very special journey. We will be traveling the length of the UK, visiting the historic and iconic mosques established by the Ahmadiyya Muslim community. We will be visiting prominent members, giving you exclusive tours, and tracing the footsteps of Khilafat at these very mosques. So sit back, relax, and join us on this historic journey.
शशजहत नूर से जगमगाने लगे दहर में गूंजती है अज़ां साथियों कर चुके हैं मुसख्खर फिज़ाओं को भी अब गुलाम.
The UK mission was established in 1913. The beginning was of course the Fazl Mosque in London. But 100 years on, and there are many more mosques overlooking the landscape. We will begin our journey at the largest city of Scotland, Glasgow, where we will visit the Baitur Rahman Mosque. We will then travel down to the Nasser Mosque, located in the coastal city of Hartlepool. Our next stop will be the Al-Mahdi Mosque in Bradford. The neighbouring city of Manchester is where the Darul Aman Mosque is located. Then we shall travel south to the recently inaugurated Leicester Mosque, Baitul Ikram. Before we enter the city of London, we will visit the Darul Barakat Mosque in Birmingham. Finally, our last mosque will be the historic Fazl Mosque in London. The furthest of these is 450 miles north of London, in the hills of Scotland. Our first destination is Glasgow. The mosque is Baitur Rahman. We have, of course, informed the local president and the local Ahmadis, and they're expecting us. And we're literally just round the corner. This is one of the earliest mosques in the UK, so it does have a really rich history. And hopefully we'll get to experience some of that today. We were received by Abid Sahib, who was going to brief us on the history of this mosque. So, Abid Sahib, the mosque has, of course, a lot of history. So, what happened when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi came here?
Well, when Hazur came, all the Jamaat members, they were gathered together here. Hazur Kar was here, and then he came out, and then we took him inside. He met the people, and then we went inside the mosque. So when Hazrat Khalifatul Masih Rabi came, then he inspected the inside of the whole mosque, and this was, the sign which we prepared specially on the occasion of the inauguration after the renovation work, and as it says, that it was open on Friday the 10th. The historic Friday sermon was also delivered here in Glasgow, May 1985.
ये जुमा ख़ुसूसियत के साथ जमात अहमदिया स्कॉटलैंड के लिए बहुत मुबारक है, क्योंकि आज हम इस इमारत का इफ्तिताह कर रहे हैं जो खालिसतन लिल्लाह अल्लाह की रज़ाजूई की खातिर हमने बहुत मुद्दत के इंतज़ार के बाद हासिल की है.
The wonderful thing about the Glasgow building was that it was bought as a listed building. So you can imagine, because it has some very significant status, it was one of the houses used by the Masons, Freemasons. And so it has some very unique features about the building. It has a dome, curved entrance. And so many people thought it was built as a mosque, so it looks like a mosque.
So when Hazur came inside the mosque area, then first thing he did was that he took out his compass, and then he checked the direction of the Kaaba.
Okay.
So this is how these lines of the carpet are facing slightly different than the
So when Hazur came in, the first thing he done was actually check if the Qibla way positioning is correct.
Yes.
I wanted to sit down with him and really go through the history of this place. Scotland has been graced by the blessings of Khilafat for many, many years. But of course, these blessings began with the vision of Hazrat Muslim Maud. If you could briefly explain that to the viewers, please.
We were not aware about this vision till very late after the opening of this Glasgow mission, actually. What happened was that Hazrat Muslim Maud saw a vision on 17th of September 1945. That was the time when there was not even a single Ahmadi in Scotland. And in that vision, Hazur saw that a time will come when there will be a strong movement in favor of our Jamaat. It will emerge from Glasgow and surrounding areas. And Alhamdulillah, we are the witness that, that time came in our lives. And this the mosque which we are sitting here now was a sign of, the fulfillment of that vision to some extent.
To get a true picture, I uncovered some historical documents in the mosque library. So I'm here in the library in Baitur Rahman in Glasgow, and just on this table there is so much history. The local members, they provided me with some newspaper articles, with some old pictures of the missionaries, some of the invitations that were sent out on the arrival of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. For example, here we have the invitations sent out to the head of the universities and the other dignitaries. Also, for example, here in 1985, when Hazur actually began the renovation of the mosque, the whole proceedings began with the Friday sermon of Hazrat Khalifatul Masih. And this is the agenda in my hand, in fact. So there was the istiqbal, the welcoming of Hazur, and then of course the khutbah Jummah, which was the opening, which began the opening of the whole ceremony of the mosque. Now here I have the notice from the UK Islamic Mission stating that the Qadiani sect is not part of Islam. They have nothing to do with Islam. They are not Muslims. And of course, this opposition, this was a build-up to the opposition of that was taking place here in Glasgow. All this here that the community, the local members here have provided, it's honestly, it is so faith-inspiring. Seeing the progress of the community. I mean, these university letters, these invitations that have gone out. These days, we just, in a peace conference, how many dignitaries and influential people are invited. Just seeing the beginning steps, it's honestly awe-inspiring. We have left Glasgow and now we are on our way towards Hartlepool. The drive is roughly about 3 hours. Glasgow, as we saw, was one of the earliest mosques in the UK. So the rich history and tracing the footsteps of Khilafat, seeing those old documents, seeing those old pictures, it was truly faith-inspiring.
जगमगाने लगे दहर में गूंजती है अज़ां साथियों कर चुके हैं मुसख्खर फिज़ाओं को भी.
We are here in Hartlepool at the Nasser Mosque. The mosque was inaugurated in 2005, and as the first purpose-built mosque outside of London here in the UK, the mosque has a great emphasis. We will, inshallah, be meeting Bilal Atkinson Sahib, who has been here since the beginning and can explain to us the story and background behind this great mosque. Please explain when Hazrat Masih al-Khamis, President Hazur, may Allah be his helper, when he came here to inaugurate the mosque. What is the background, what is the story of how the plans were made and the land was purchased?
Dr. Hamid died, as I said, in February of 2000. 2 years before that, he thought that his house wasn't large enough for the number of people coming to offer the prayers. So he decided to look for a piece of land in which to build a mosque. And I said to Dr. Khan, I said, this particular site, which we're on now, as a police officer, I came so many times because at the corner of the site there used to be a children's clinic and it was always being broken into. At that time it was a bit of a rundown area and I could see some problems. Nevertheless, he said, yes, we'll have this site. Informed the council and said we would like to purchase this site on condition we get planning permission. So the price agreed was £60,000. And this was in, February 2000, early February. Unfortunately, Dr. Khan passed away on the 29th of February of that year.
मिशनरी रूह के साथ यहाँ उन्होंने काम किया और जमात बनाई, तबलीग की, मुकामी लोगों में भी अहमदियत फैली और फिर इस जमात की तरबियत और इन मुकामी लोगों के प्यार की वजह से और तबलीग का जो मज़ा उनको आ चुका था उस वजह से जाने का ख्याल ही भूल गए वो, फिर यहीं के हो गए और फिर यहीं उन दोनों की वफ़ात भी हुई और यहीं दफन भी हैं। आज डॉक्टर हमीद खान साहब और साजिदा हमीद साहिबा की रूह भी इस मस्जिद की तामीर का सवाब हासिल कर रही होगी, उनको भी ये सवाब मिल रहा होगा जिनकी कोशिशों से ये रकबा ख़रीदा गया और उनकी शदीद ख्वाहिश पर ये मस्जिद बन भी गई अल्लाह के फजल से।
And then I was appointed as Sadr of Jamaat, and the Jamaat said that we should continue trying to purchase this land. So I phoned the council, and I'll point out right from now, I'd never met any person from the council during all these negotiations. It was always the telephone. And I contacted them and said, look, we're a charitable organisation. Is there any possibility you can reduce the price of the land? So a few weeks later, a man phoned from some department and said, where would you like to start on the price? I said, let's start with nothing. Because I knew Dr. Khan was he used to like to barter. Yeah. And I didn't like to do that at all. Being English, you don't usually do things like that. Then it went up £1,000 per time, and we eventually got to 35,000. He said, okay, we'll accept that. I thought this is a miracle in itself. It reduced from 60 to 35,000 pounds. He said that was for one piece of land. There was three small pieces, another two small pieces. He said, I'll throw them in as well. Mo says, okay, thank you.
Hartlepool was a mosque that we had to build from scratch. So it was our first one, and we had many teething problems. We had a learning process of how to build from scratch a new mosque, and it was all done by our own team. So we experienced a lot of miracles because it was a difficult project. It was a very difficult project, and it was the weather, as you know, in that part of the world. Either it's going to rain, or it's about to rain, or it's raining. You know, so weather was very, very difficult. And I remember a month before the opening, it was Ramadan, and the boys worked throughout Ramadan there was no roof on the building, and they were sleeping in the building. So because we'd cleared the property that we were occupying for rental, we had to move back into the masjid, but the masjid wasn't ready. So they slept in the mosque for that month of Ramadan and worked throughout that period without the roof, and the roof went on a week before the opening of the mosque.
Hi.
Hello.
From MTA International.
And I'm Father Graham from St. Oswald's. Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you.
Good to see you.
Thank you so much. So shall we make our way to the mosque?
Thank you.
So what about the church? I mean, the architecture of the church is pretty...
It's a copy, in a sense, of medieval churches. The architect had a great interest in medieval architecture, and he was given the chance to basically design his own medieval church. And he came with St. Oswald's.
How long have you been here at this church?
I've been at this church for 12 years.
When you came to the inauguration, did you get a chance to meet His Holiness?
I did. It was wonderful. I mean, obviously a man of great prayer, and what I also liked about was great thoughtfulness.
Even the mosque, I mean, like, of course, like, there's beautifully architectured, and even the church, like, you can see it from so far, and the amount of detail that's gone into just building it.
I think mosques, like churches, are silent witnesses to faith. You can't walk past a mosque or a church without thinking, whatever you think of the people, that here is a symbol to something that people believe. Here you've got something side by side to two communities who believe very passionately in God.
So what is your relationship, I mean, of the church and the Christian community with the mosque?
We actually have very good relationships. I think it's very important to be a good neighbour. Jesus taught us to love your neighbour as yourself, so we try to do that. So where you explore items and issues of common interest, support each other in some of the best and some of the sadly worst times of life. We respond to each other's invitations, and we certainly pray for each other.
Well, we're inviting you today. Let's see inside. Let's go inside. Please join us. After you.
Thank you.
I sat down with Father Graham. He felt proud to have a close tie with the community. You were invited here at the inauguration. What did you think of the atmosphere and the inauguration itself?
I was still very new in Hartlepool, and to be invited by the Ahmadiyya community for such a special occasion, especially when the world leader was going to be present, His Holiness, I thought was very touching and also was a statement of intent. I thought he was a very thoughtful man. Too many people speak before they think. Obviously, that he was a prayerful man came across, and his ability to wish the best for folk without compromising any of his own beliefs, I think, came across in what he said. I like to think we have a very good relationship. We invite each other to various events and occasions. We support each other in prayer, I do know that. And we can speak up with a common voice, and we hope to engage in more activities and various issues to explore together in the future. I look forward to it.
So just generally being here at the first purpose-built mosque outside of London, here in the UK, and meeting with Bilal Sahib and of course Father Graham, I thought it really emphasized for me the significance and the importance of a mosque within a society as an abode of peace, and it shows how powerful a tool a mosque can be for tabligh and for spreading the message of Islam and for spreading love and harmony within a society.
शशजहत नूर से जगमगाने लगे, दहर में गूंजती है अज़ा साथियों, कर चुके हैं मुसख्खर फिज़ाओं को भी, अब गुलाम मसीह है ज़मां साथियों, पुरखतर राह से मुस्कुराते हुए हम तो कर्बो बला से गुजरते.
We've arrived here in Bradford, and it's been a really, really long day. Tomorrow, inshallah, we'll make our way towards Manchester. But until then, I'm going to catch up on some sleep and see you tomorrow, inshallah.